For HMTV, this is EonShiKeno. We're back with some more DreamHack replays for StarCraft 2. So our first match, this best of 3, is going to be on Yonsu. And let's go ahead and take a look at our first player. Bottom left corner of the map, the blue Terran player from Team Acer. It is MMA. With some very appropriate, high-intensity orchestral music there. You would think I was introducing Darth Vader at that point. But no, it's MMA. He's even worse. And his opponent, who's no slouch himself, part of EG, it is JYP, the red protest player in the top right-hand corner of the map. And no fancy music from StarCraft 2 for JYP. He'll have to wait for Legacy of the Void, fortunately. So, best of 3 series here from DreamHack. Group B. This is the sickest group of the whole thing. This is the death. This is the group of death, as a lot of people like to call it. It has life in it. It's got Stardust, JYP, MMA. I think there's someone else I'm forgetting. Anyways, I think maybe that's it. I don't know if there's another person around, but it's a really, really sick group. So we're going to see a lot of awesome games out of this group. Looking forward to commentating those for you guys. You can always check back every week for another replay from me. And also, you can find more on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/EonShiKeno. So, we had a JYP go on, check out for any type of proxy location, doesn't see anything. So he's feeling good about that. Of course, we're going to see, okay. I was expecting Reaper from MMA because Reaper is such a common opening here, but he's already changing things up, and this is pretty fun to see. You know, I always like when Terran players do something that's not as common. And he's got a SCV heading out, so he's probably just going to do some scouting, unless he does... Okay, he's not going to do like a proxy factory. Unless he hides it in his opponent's base. I don't think he's going to do that, though. That'd be pretty ballsy. But no, he's just going to scout. Okay, and steal some gems. That could be pretty risky, too. You got to watch out for those Protoss players. They're pretty greedy about their minerals. So reactor being built here. That's going to allow him to... Okay, still mining gas, though, so he definitely wants to throw up a reactor pretty quick, or sorry, a factory pretty quick here. And not rushing to a command center as fast as possible. SCV being a little bit annoying, and actually getting pretty low there, 10 versus 5, so that was some pretty good control there from JYP. One hit, and that probe would have died. But he controlled that very well and kept it alive. Now the mothership core is out, that probe, or sorry, that SCV is going to have to run for the hills. That did buy him a little bit of time. You can see how much further ahead his command center is than his opponents, and that's going to be pretty nice for him. There's the factory popping up there. Still hasn't thrown in a second gas, but you know, that leads me to believe he's not going to go for any type of fast Banshee play, obviously. Pumping out some Marines, got a factory going up. Could there's a lot of things he could do here. He could kind of do like a Marine Hellion push with medevacs. That's pretty common. And it gets Protoss players. So we have a Stargate coming up, wherever it is. Okay, it's right here. Stargate coming up, and Stalker and Mothership Core in a position here that is to deflect any Reapers that might jump up this ramp. You know, he did scout out the gas. I'm almost positive he scouted out gas. Yeah, he scouted out the gas, so he knew there was a possibility of Reapers, and that's, you know, what I would expect. And you know, if he comes in here, he really can't do any damage up here in the front, so having these units up here is probably the best location for them to be. You know, the only thing he would really have to worry about is if like a bunch of SCVs came and he built 2 bunkers. Then he would probably prefer to have those units down here, but that's such a low risk opportunity that it's better off just deflecting versus what is the most common thing. Not to mention, if you can kill this Reaper before it gets up to this high ground, you can stop him from scouting out the Stargate, which is a pretty big deal. So we've got the choice of a Stargate, making some oracles. And so, what was that? He's making some Widow Mines, so he's going to go for Widow Mine Marines with the medevac and pushing out here. So if he can gain control of this low ground with some Widow Mines near that ramp and just use those Marines to take out this Nexus, he could be in a pretty good position. So the Widow Mine will get in place. He does have enough for the Mothership Core Cannon, and that Widow Mine does get 1 kill and sneaks on out of there. So another probe. Yeah, he even picked off that next probe. So far, a pretty good trade here from MMA. Only lost... I don't think he's lost anything so far. Took a little bit of damage on that, wouldn't mind, but either way, he got a couple probe kills. Oracle is not looking to stick around to defend against this. There's a lot of Marines there, and that Oracle is probably better served. Oh my god, is he going to scout that out? Holy cow, MMA saw that. Was that on purpose? Was that on purpose? Did he just, like, predict an Oracle timing and scout it? I mean, that is crazy. Now he's going to have, if he's paying attention, I mean, if he actually saw that, I don't know why else that would be over there. So the medevac goes in for the drop. He drops Widow Mine on the high ground, so that's a pretty good location for that Widow Mine. Doesn't completely get the whole ramp up there, but either way, Oracle gets completely smashed by that Widow Mine, and MMA, MMA is doing some damage here. He's just all over the place. Medevac does go down, but there's plenty of Marines here still left alive. One Widow Mine is going to take a good key position on this ramp. So Oracle does Grand Vision, so this Widow Mine will go down without taking anything with it. Marines just walk into the mineral line, shredding these probes. Probes, shields, and health drop so very quickly. These Marines, look, those guys just get melted walking through. It's like they're walking through lava. Get completely massacred. Stalker trying to microback. Sentry even goes down. The Mothership 4 shows up to the party once again and cleans up, takes all the glory. But this SCV scout, I want to know what he was thinking there. Was he like, okay, this is the exact moment when an Oracle may be coming out. Let me just go ahead and put an SCV here at the perfect timing. That was just insane star sense there. So another Oracle making its way on into the main. We'll scout out 3 barracks, starport, along with the factory. So he's pretty well aware what type of bio play he's going to be going against. Missile turrets being put up, but just a little bit late here. JYP managed to get a couple kills in. Let's check the worker kill count for both players. 6 kills there for JYP and 10 for MMA. But where is that sneaky? There's a sneaky... There it is. It's right back here. You can barely see it. If you have health bars on, you can see it. But there's the Widow Mine that killed that one Oracle that flew back here. It flew right over here and got taken out in that quick moment whenever there was a fight going on up here. But excellent placement there. Oracle needs to pay attention. Gets very close to taking lethal damage. Stalker's trying to gain some map control, but they will fall back a little bit here. I'm curious, what is this? What's with this point in the map? It's just like random workers show up over here and they just hang out for a while. This is the place to be. This is like where all the secrets get traded. I don't know what's going on over there. But either way, Protoss player getting some Templar archives coming up, starting to get charged, getting some zealots out, making a photon cannon, worrying about drops in the late game. Getting that 1 armor upgrade. So we'll probably see some charge lots, some Archons, some Templars with Stormer if you can get up to it. Pretty good combination to deal with bio. It's tried and true, very tested strategy to deal with bio. Especially if you can lane your storms. Get some time warps on there. Those Marines will never know what hit them. Pumping up the production, getting up to 5 barracks, which is what you want to be. We'll see if he's going to throw down a... Okay, never mind. He's already thrown it down. It's right here. 3rd command center going up. Hasn't yet taken out the rocks yet. And will he remember his situation from the last one? And does he? No, I guess it wasn't in range. Wait, where's that? There it is. I was waiting for it. So JYP hasn't learned his lesson yet that there is an Oracle over there. And a Reaper managed to be built during this game sometime. And I don't know where the hell that was built. But he managed to sneak one out and did a little bit of scouting with that. Checking out this possible location for a 3rd base. Did he actually get a kill? No kills just yet. +1 attack is done for MMA. He throws down a stem, but force fields go down just before, so rendering that stem useless, forcing these medevacs to use a little bit of their energy. Another Widow Mine moving in position. I wonder where he's going to. Just kind of heading up here, going to guard that 3rd base. MMA doing a good job of keeping on the pressure. JYP producing to make a lot of zealots, making some Templar, high Templar here in the back. We'll see if he's just going to let those... Okay, Storm is just now getting finished, so he's going to have enough for energy for Storm. A couple of these high Templar have batting up for a while, so... You can see they've already got enough energy there for Storm. So still on 1 Forge. Just pumping out a lot of units. He just wants to have a lot of forces to deal with this bio. which you know, kind of makes sense considering how late MMA has taken its third. Whenever your opponent is, you know, focusing that much on production, you need to have an army of equivalent size, otherwise you'll just get ran over. So I think JYP has done a pretty good job here of managing resources, keeping his tech high enough, like upgrades and higher tech units, as well as producing just a crap ton of zealots, enough to deal with this force coming up here. So MMA gonna stim, get up into a really nice choke point up here on the high ground. Good storm though. Oh god, those high Templars come out of nowhere. Oh my god, quickly morphs them to an Archon. Now these Marines and Marauders are on the run. These Zealots are just too much to go for, and MMA is probably just gonna run straight on into the main here, and why not? But so many Zealots being warped in, it may just be too many, and MMA, god, lands in another storm. MMA just nowhere good to be this game. And that has just worked out excellent for JYP, shutting that down. You know, I thought MMA was going to be in a really nice position here, having all this high ground advantage to him. But then out of nowhere, High Templar coming from the top and just lands some amazing storms, putting those Marines, I thought they were in safe hands, you know, underneath some thunderstorms. So now, after feeling pretty confident after that last victory, JYP just heads straight for his opponent's base, maybe a little bit overeager here. There's a lot of Marines, a lot of Marauders. Archons in the back are kind of getting split up here, but Force Field's actually working against him here. You know, I always wonder about Protoss players throwing out Force Fields whenever they go for Zealot, Charged Zealot builds. It never seems to work out. So, yeah, I think that was a little bit of a miscalculation. JYP getting a little overeager there. Wasn't really calculating how much production he actually has back here. Look at this, even adding on 3 more barracks since the last time we checked in his base. He's got his armory up, starting to get some mech upgrades. Ghost Academy zone, so he can start. He's actually got 3 ghosts coming out this time. So he's gonna have some well-needed EMP. And speaking of EMP, we've the latest StarCraft2 balance change that isn't live yet actually buffs Ghost, so you don't require that upgrade anymore. You just start with enough energy to use EMP, which is pretty nice. Good storm goes there from JYP. Those medevacs are getting really low. Nice time warp goes down, forcing those Marines and Marauders to fall back. But there just aren't as many Zealots as there were earlier. The storms are actually working out pretty good for him here. The storms are landing, and that's exactly what needs to have happen. But there's just a huge Marauder force and Marine force and a lot of medevacs to keep us alive. A couple more Archons being warped in. They're warping a little bit too late here. This force from MMA is just way too strong. He's cutting through this Protoss player. The upgrades are 1-1 versus, what do we got? 3 armor upgrades. So JYP doing a pretty good job with the armor, but he just doesn't have that many Zealots. And a lot of these Zealots were lost in that attack he just had, and there's the GG. That's it. You know, JYP had a crushing victory after that first attack MMA had, or actually the second attack. He just destroyed that attack, even stopped whenever MMA went to the high ground, shut that down as well, but I think he got a little too overeager. He pushed down there. He was in a bad position. Force field went against him. Lost his entire Zealot force, and that whole time MMA was building more and more units, and unfortunately, JYP wasn't just mass-making Zealots because he never had any more Zealots than he did earlier on in the game. And that right there just goes to show you have to keep your Zealot number extremely huge if you want to deal with this army this big from a Bio-Terran player. And, you know, I have to say, the Storms are really good that game. I thought his Storms were amazing, but his Storms weren't the problem there. It was definitely his lack of Zealots. His armor was good as well. He had pretty good tech upgrades, but the Zealot force just wasn't strong enough to force that Bio army to just be pushed back and on the run and force a stutter step away from his opponent. But good play there from MMA, staying strong, consistent, applying the pressure over and over again, slowly taking that third, getting the nice upgrades, and just overall pretty good play. So hopefully this back and forth game will lead us into a pretty good best of 3 in this series. So that's the end of this first game where MMA takes it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave any comments or criticisms. And you can check out more of my stuff at youtube.com/EonShiKeno. Until next week, I'll see you guys later.